Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw pants on. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title belts, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks popping, who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in podcasting, the legend J-Mac. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite Uncle Slam.
What's up?
And before we get into any great details and topics tonight, go hit that like, share, follow, and subscribe so that we can keep bringing you this content and everything. Man, we got some things to touch on this week. I saw something very disturbing and I just showed it to you a few minutes ago, and I don't know how I feel about well, I know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel what the consequences should be. I'm not going to show any footage of anything. I'm not going to, I'm not going to disrespect the young man like that or anything. I'm sure he wants his privacy and everything, but, referee, I believe his name was Dallas Edwards. I don't want to get that wrong. Young man. I'm not for sure exactly who all works for. I know he was working for OVW during this. But this young man took a bad bump. That's a picture of him and everything. Please go and say a prayer for this young man. He took a bad bump and had a seizure in the middle of the match. And after he took this bump, and I'm just going to say, from my opinion, I just feel like it was total disregard for this guy's safety. They just rolled him out of the way while he was in the middle of having a seizure and kept going with the match. I'm sorry. I don't know. It was wrong. Everybody involved was wrong. Everything should have been stopped, and that young man should have been helped a lot sooner.
Exactly.
It's
supposed to be the safety of everybody, not just, the performers and obviously the refs part of the match. And yeah, they definitely dropped the ball on this one. Somebody needs to pay for this, and obviously there needs to be some type of consequences. I'm not saying, I'm probably not as harsh as some people, but there's definitely got to be something done.
I mean, it's got to be. I'm not going to go. I don't know anybody personally in this. I know there's people we do know that know this young man, so I'm sure they have their personal, feelings about everything. But at the end of the day, I mean, just pray for this young man, whatever it is you believe in, pray for him, vibes, whatever it is that you do. This young man, he's in the hospital. From what I've seen, he's stable, he's okay, but, let's keep him in prayer and stuff that he can get back out there and keep doing, what it is he obviously loves to do.
Has there been any comment from the organization? Has there been any word from him himself?
I haven't seen anything personally.
I think OVW did put out, or I think somebody did put out a statement.
Let me see here. Has OVW made a statement about the Dallas Edwards incident? Let's see. During last night's Ohio Valley, I'm not seeing anything directly from. Here it is. OVW issues a statement on referee Dallas Edwards' medical emergency. Let's see. Ohio Valley Wrestling has now issued a statement regarding the scary incident that took place at the promotion's Thursday night event in Louisville, Kentucky. During a match at the event, referee Dallas Edwards suffered a medical emergency while participating in a planned spot. He went down after taking a phenomenal forearm and started to convulse in an apparent seizure. Through though something was clearly wrong, the performers continued with the match until it was stopped. Edwards then received medical attention and the show ended. I'm trying to get to OVW statement. Okay, here's OVW statement. Last night during Rise, referee Dallas Edwards, a member of our OVW family, experienced a medical emergency during the broadcast. OVW takes the health and well being of all of our performers extremely seriously. And as a company, we are all distraught to see an injury to one of our own. Dallas is alert and doing much better. We ask everyone to keep him in your thoughts and prayers and respect his and his family's privacy at this time. We will provide an update as soon as it is available, but in the meantime, we wish Dallas a speedy recovery, and we can't wait until he's back in the ring.
Okay.
I mean, I get that they came out and made a statement, but
I think there's
something should have been done a little sooner.
Yeah, you definitely, especially when something like that happens, like a head injury, time is very crucial. Getting somebody to a hospital or maybe getting, a collar, especially in a sport like wrestling, and the way they moved them around, was just careless.
I agree.
So, I would hope they would like review their protocol, or at least at the very least have a meeting and and talk about again about safety, talk about if something like this does happen, what to do, and maybe even maybe for the larger promotions, get like an EMS, paramedics, maybe a nurse, just in case something like that does. A doctor would be preferred, but I know everybody can't afford something like that. I mean, smaller promotions, budgets are tight as is, but some type of medical personnel would be very helpful.
I agree 100%. And I also think that they need to, yes, Johnny Lee. By the way, we have a couple comments. Miss Veronica Sloan said yes. And Johnny Lee also said hashtag prayers for Dallas Edwards. Also, he said, yeah, they should have stopped the match, especially those in the back. I agree 100%. But I'm also hoping that maybe this incident will, maybe they need to take some time out in every show and train people on when this happens, stop it. Everything stops, and get the people out there. The referee holds up an X whenever a performer is hurt. Why ain't performers holding up an X whenever the referee's hurt?
Is that where the breakdown was? Because normally it's the ref giving the X instead of a performer giving the X.
I don't know. Maybe, but maybe things need, like I said, maybe I don't know for sure. Cause both of us, we haven't been behind the scenes enough to, we know a little bit more about the business than what we did before, but we don't know all the ins and outs. So I don't know, I don't know if it's maybe, a thing where performers, as far as wrestlers, hold up X's if referees are hurt. I don't know. But if it's not, maybe it's a thing we need to look into so that, these referees aren't getting crushed by 300-pound men and suffering head injuries, and like this poor young man did,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we need to just go back to the drawing board with this and relook at everything.
I think it kind of forces you to. I mean, because at the very least, you don't want to see talent get hurt, but at the same time, there's a huge liability that comes with that also.
Yes, I 100% agree. And I don't know. It's sad, but prayers for you, Dallas.
Prayers.
I personally don't know you. Yeah, I don't know you, but we're Headlocks is in your corner, man. Get better. We hope to see you back out there. Man, it's just sad. But, and staying on that sad note, I don't know if you've seen this, but last week, right after we went off the air, I seen this pop up.
I did see that. Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah, and they are talking about he's going to have his other leg amputated too.
What is it?
I
Is it like diabetes?
I, th- I don't know if it's diabetes. I know a few years ago he had to have a kidney transplant,
Hmm.
and he is back on the list again for another one.
Okay.
So that's what this article said. So keep your prayers for Conan too. You know, I'm sure it's definitely life changing losing a limb like that,
Oh
but
hell yeah.
if it's going to save your life, you know, I'd rather see Conan around for a few more years. You know, I just
Yeah.
prayers out to him too.
Especially especially when you're an athlete, you know, like he was, you know, being a wrestler, and then it's probably going to humble you. But I totally agree. You know, when it's, you know, if you got to give your legs, unfortunately, to live, it's what you got to do.
That's it. It sucks, but I can relearn to walk without a leg. I can't live without life.
Yep. I mean, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Well, now that we can ease up a little bit here and everything, get off the sadder stuff, and I mean, not that we need to. Everybody, like I said, everybody keep them in your prayers. I seen this. I just thought it was kind of funny and everything. It kind of makes sense.
No. Yep. I see it too.
Yeah, especially with CM Punk. I hate to say it, but he's got the hairdo and everything going on. I just thought that was funny. I had to throw it in there.
I like
Tomorrow
that.
night, pretty big show going on in where is this? I can never. Is it Cave City or something like that? Kazana, Kentucky. I'm not for sure exactly where. Let me look here.
Savannah's High School gym.
Horse Cave, Kentucky. That's what
Okay.
it was. So the Caverna High School gym is going to have a fundraiser, and Hillbilly Jim's going to be there. The Godwins, a bunch of big talent. Kazanas, all, different talent from EWA. You know, there's local talent, national talent. It's going to be a good show. It's for a good cause. You know, UCW's involved. Let's see who all else is down here involved. TCW, OWA. There's tons of promotions down here involved in this. It's going to be in Cave City, like I said. Is that right? Cave City. I keep getting Horse Cave, Kentucky. I keep getting that
Horse
wrong.
Cave.
I've never heard of Horse Cave, Kentucky, and I live right here.
I
But
know in Kentucky. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not really surprised about the name, but
right. But yeah, everybody who can go out there and check them out. It's going to be tomorrow at in Horse Cave, Kentucky. I believe they said bell time is 7 o'clock. So go give them a.
yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be a good show.
go
From
support a
what
good cause.
Yes, and from what I hear, this is a big show that they do like just about every year and stuff. So especially when it's a fundraiser, go help people out. I seen these just to bring it up. There wasn't a whole lot of big stories this week, but this is the from the Great American Bash from 1988. It's a match card, and with us getting into WrestleMania season, because it's something I want to touch on here in a minute, is about I just don't feel the build up for the WWE for WrestleMania this year. There's
You know,
no electricity about it.
it's so funny you said that because I've had this discussion with some of my friends and saw this on social media where everybody's kind of, I don't want to say everybody, but just a few people that I've seen talk about it have said that WrestleMania just doesn't mean what it means used to anymore. And I think even AJ Styles like went on a podcast and was talking about it also, that it's lost what it just feels like another pay-per-view now. Like it doesn't feel like it used to. You know, it used to be the grand event. It was the highlight. It's what you work towards. Now it just feels like another pay-per-view. Like it's lost some of the luster that it used to have.
And that's sad.
Do
You
you
know,
think so? I mean, like, do you think that you know that it's just another pay-per-view, or that it's not as prestigious or not as good as it used to be?
I think it's still the best pay-per-view out there.
Uh,
I think it's still what you strive to, you know, you strive to have that WrestleMania main event and that WrestleMania moment.
yes.
Everybody wants that in their career.
Mhm.
But this year particularly, no. Last year, I was cool with the build up. You know what I'm saying? Everything seemed like it was gelling. Like I don't know, the Hall of Fame induction. I'm so glad about some of the people who are getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not excited about it like I was
Yeah.
last year. I'm not
Mhm.
excited about WrestleMania because it's like here we are, what, the 13th of March, and we don't even have a full card for WrestleMania. You know, we don't even really know where things are going or anything with
Well,
some
they
of the
have
main
what, just the main
events.
event so far. It's Roman and CM Punk, and then uh, like Randy Orton and Cody Rose,
And that's the thing, you know,
and the women's titles, of course, the two women's championships. But yeah, as far as all the other belts, no, we don't have a clue. I mean,
there's
they
just
haven't.
no build up or nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, and plus this whole switching the title so close to WrestleMania and stuff. And I get it. WWE sees more money in Cody versus Randy than
Well,
they
you
do
called it.
Drew versus Cody. Yeah.
I
But I
mean,
mean, I don't see I don't feel the build up for it this year. I really don't. But getting back to what I was going to say is like, you know, you look at the build up of this year's WrestleMania compared to the match card of this Great American Bash. The War Games was Lex Luger, Sting, Nikita Koloff, and the Road Warriors versus Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and J.J. Dillon. The entire Horseman. Man, that match alone was enough to get me in the seats. You know,
what are you talking about? Starcade used to be one of my favorites because it always had the double ring with the giant steel cage over it and shit. Like, to me, that was the freaking WrestleMania of WCW.
it was.
And yeah, you're right. Like, this match alone, like, the talent on one side is enough, and then you put the opposition, and I'm pretty sure you haven't even read the other card yet. I mean,
No.
the rest of the card.
And this is what made me even more mad whenever I really got to looking at this flyer. Think about where we live, Josh. Look at where this one was.
Where was it at? Let's see. I can't see.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh God, that
And
means we could actually went to one.
we would have been like 10 years old, man. Could you imagine 10 years old going up to Cincinnati just to see that match?
I would have
But
lost my mind. I would
right.
have been. I would have lost my mind.
But then you got the world television title, Mike Rotunda versus Dr. Death Steve Williams. Great match. Handicap bunkhouse match. The Fantastics versus the Midnight Express and the Jim Cornette. Let's see, 6-man tag team match. The Russian Assassin, Ivan Koloff, Dick Murdoch, and Paul Jones taking on Mighty Wilbur, Ronnie Garver, and Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. I don't know who Mighty Wilbur is. I'm sure he was probably big at the time, but I mean, then you got Tim Horner, which I mean, I've heard a lot about Tim Horner and everything. Good
I ain't
wrestler
never heard his name.
versus Al Perez. I've heard a lot about him. There's a few of these, like I said, I haven't gone back and actually looked at who they are and everything. But you got the Rock and Roll Express versus the Sheep Herders. Now you know who the Sheep Herders were.
The sheep herders.
The Sheep Herders were the better version of the Bushwhackers.
Oh, okay, okay.
They were the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch, but they were called Sheep Herders, and they were bloody when they were the Sheep Herders. Like what people see with the Bushwhackers was not what they were about. They
Yeah, because they
turned
were
them,
goofy. They were more like comic
yes,
relief.
and that's exactly what they turned themselves into, man. But when they was the Sheep Herders, they were tough. Let's see, we got Bugsy McGraw versus Jim Lancaster. And New Breed Chris Champion versus Rick Steiner. And I mean that was a hell of a card, you know what I'm saying? Especially
Mm.
compared to what I know about this year's WrestleMania. I have no idea. But then I found this one too, just to compare, you know, a WCW card. Let's see what you got here. This is from '98, so I think we probably remember this one. DDP and Carl the Mailman Malone versus
Oh, yeah,
Hollywood
okay,
Hogan
yeah.
and Dennis Rodzilla Rodman. That's great. I hated that match. It was so corny watching all these people. Well, I don't know. The Jay Leno match had to be worse. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I've
But
never been a big fan of all the like celebrity matches. Like I see why they do it, to pull in, like other audience or mainstream media and stuff. But I don't think I've ever really liked any.
yeah, I 100% agree with you. It just seems like it's, again, we've said it before, taking up a space of somebody who could have actually used that spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you got the Giant versus Kevin Green. Rest in peace. Kidman versus Juventud Guerrero. Yeah, that's another guy right there. He had an attitude from what I've heard, behind the scenes,
Hmm.
but Juventud was good in the ring.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say too. Like I always liked him, and that's a name that I haven't heard in a long time or whatever.
Yep. And I always messed up. I used to call him Guerrero, thinking
Guerrero,
that he was one of the Guerreros, but it's Guerrera.
Guerrero.
And then you got Chavo Jr. versus Eddie Guerrero. That was good. I mean, you can't go wrong when you got a
Yeah,
Guerrero versus a Guerrero.
Guerrero. Hell no.
And then for the WCW World Heavyweight title at the time, you had Booker T versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Let's see, Goldberg versus Kurt Hennig for the United States Championship. Chavo wrestled twice on this. Stevie Ray versus Chavo Jr.
Hmm.
And then a hair versus hair. I guess Eddie wrestled twice too, because you got Chavo, hair versus hair, Chavo Jr. versus. Maybe that was just a stipulation on that, on their match at the bottom. That could be what it is. But then you had Raven versus Saturn. Like I said, these two events alone have. I'm more excited about going back and watching them.
Yeah, then I would. You're watching a fresh pay per view from now. Well, I mean, they still have some time, so like maybe they can get us like a little more interested, or they'll come up with some new angle. Hopefully,
They're gonna have to, because I
like I'm trying
mean,
to give them, some credit. I ain't gonna lie, I've been disappointed in some pay per views, especially that first one when they joined ESPN, the WrestlePalooza shit. But I'm trying to
that
give them some credit. I
that
don't want to.
WrestlePalooza was shit.
I hate to dog them all the time and shit. Because I feel like we just dump. Like we never give them credit for doing anything good, which I know they have to do some good shit, but I don't know. It's
I
just
don't
hard.
know whatever good they've done. I don't know. And again, I agree with you. We do dump on them a lot, but when you've watched it for 40 years, and you've watched that golden era with Hogan when the Hulkamania run happened, and then you went through that lull where everything kind of started to die down, the transition. But then the new generation came in and you stuck through it. When Shawn and Brett and Undertaker were, taking over and kind of carrying the torch. And then, Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H came in. There were all these lulls that we stuck through and we got through them. And it seemed like that it picked back up after those lulls. But it's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're trying to dig themselves out of this. It
Are
seems
we
like
are we just spoiled because we had it so good for so long, and now it's like it's like we've been eating steak for so long. Now that we're eating, hamburger, it just doesn't taste the same.
I think so, to an extent, because it's like for so long Vince McMahon wanted to make sure everybody had a perfectly grilled New York strip on your plate, and now it's like, well, we gave you a minute steak, be happy you're eating. you
Yeah,
know I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. And maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that it's two different visions.
yeah.
It was Vince's vision before, and now it's not. I don't know. I hope they get it together before WrestleMania, because I don't want to be disappointed with WrestleMania. I mean, I
Or
really,
maybe they've been giving us hamburger for a while and calling it steak, and
right?
we finally realized, like, hey, man, I'm getting some tube steak over here and shit. This ain't what I sound up for.
What Eddie Murphy say in Raw? He said, that's like, he said, if you hungry, man, he said, a cracker, any cracker tastes great. He said, man, that's a good cracker, man. What is that? Is that a Ritz? That's good, man. That's just a saltine. That's just a really, you know. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Yeah, let's hope they get it together for WrestleMania because it's coming up quick. What is it? End of this month or no?
We
It's
just
April. April.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say because we just talked about it.
Yeah, it's like April 19th or something like that.
Mm.
So they got about a month to build some stuff. Let's knock on wood. They do get it together. WWE, come on, Trips. That's right. All righty. I thought this was kind of crazy, man. So Ryan Cabrera, the husband of Alexa Bliss, says doctors mistake Alexa Bliss's wrestling bruises for signs of domestic violence. I never thought about this being a thing with, the female wrestlers and stuff, but I wonder how many of them really do have to face this.
Well, it makes sense, and I could see why there would be a misunderstanding, given that like unless you know who the person is in their career. Now, honestly, to me, that's more they didn't read the chart and or didn't ask enough questions. Be like, so like, what's your occupation? And then she was like, oh, I'm a professional wrestler. That would explain bumps, bruises, this and that. Instead of just being like, okay, well, this is some little girl. Oh man, her husband must be beating the shit out of her. I mean, damn, look at all these bruises. He's fucking her up.
Could you imagine having to explain that all the time? That just sucks. I would find one doctor that I knew I could go to that just wasn't going to question anything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, good luck to Ryan. I hope you don't have to explain that anymore because that would suck. So, Vince Russo claims that Brian Road Dog James became the WWE's creative scapegoat. What do you think?
Is he trying to say that they're blaming the boring ass storylines all on Road Dogg? That he's the one that uh like created all this, or he's the reason why things kind of suck? Is that what they're trying to say?
I think too, and I think that's what Vince is trying to say.
See, that doesn't
I don't.
even make sense because we all know one, Road Dogg is just part of creative. Two, he doesn't have the final say in any of this shit. Triple H or TKO does. So yes, he might be a higher up, but he doesn't have the final say. He's not the one running things. So in the end, it all falls on Hunter because Hunter's the one in charge of the company. Just like if it was Vince was in charge, the buck stops at him.
Yep.
The,
I don't look at him as the scapegoat, but I definitely think that he was pushing for people that WWE is not ready to
yes,
push.
I agree there.
Whether right, wrong, or indifferent, they're just not ready to give these people their shine. Just what's her name, Chelsea Green.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like watching that video with him going to bat for Chelsea and saying, "Hey, let's do this with her." As soon as he said it, Triple H was just shooting everything he said down. Why can't Chelsea Green beat Jade Cargill?
yeah.
Why? It's wrestling. If we write it that way, it can happen.
Yeah, and
So
especially with the right story and shit, like you can make it
exactly,
happen.
exactly. And I'll be honest with you. You let a Chelsea Green beat somebody like a Charlotte or who a Becky Lynch. They let Maxine Dupree beat Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
But they won't let Chelsea Green, who the fans are completely behind, beat somebody that's higher up because she's already beat everybody she can work. I don't know. It just
yeah. Like I love Chelsea Green and shit. Like she's hilarious, and I don't understand why they're not giving her a chance. But I mean, it's almost like the same with the LA Knight situation. And Road Dogg saying, I don't understand why we're shaving R-Truth's hair head. Like he looks like a giant fucking M&M and shit. Like it's stupid. Like it really does. Like I couldn't even focus on the match because all I saw was this poor man's head shining, and I'm like, wow.
yeah, it's like
What did that accomplish? I mean, like, how does that make the story better? Like, how does that make the a match improve it?
it didn't. The only way that would have worked and came off better is if R-Truth had come in. It didn't have to be for a title, but if R-Truth had came in and beat John Cena, and that's what made John Cena realize. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The whole point of him turning into Ron Cena was to get John back.
Mm-hmm.
and then, let him beat him, because Ron Cena wouldn't have beat John Cena.
Yeah.
But this version of whoever you are, well, Ron Cena beat him because you ain't the John Cena we know. And then, okay, boom, you could flip him back right there.
Mm-hmm.
Crap, my buddy, my old friend from forever ago, made me see the light.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd have done that. But I'm not working creative for WWE.
Neither is Road Dogg.
Right. Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Un-
Unfortunately.
right. All righty. Let's see. So people are begging. It says, for the love of God, bring back Vince McMahon. Triple H makes Raw nothing but masked men and interferences. Lazy fucking booking. And that's what I was going to say earlier. I never thought about this, but I seen a comment where somebody said, if it's not a faction, how was it they said it? If it's not a faction getting running roughshod, then it's a secret masked man, and that's all Triple H is throwing out there right now. It's either run-in interference from a faction, or there's some run-in mask. There's a new masked person.
Yeah, it's true. They have had a lot of the whole mask thing since actually, like before the Vision, was it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. Like I don't know. I don't know if Triple H is getting pressure from TKO or what, but I hate to say it, but there was a lot of rumors back in the day when Triple H was a performer that he did a lot to kind of hold people back. Are we seeing that as an executive?
I don't know. Could be.
My whole thing is what would be the point of doing it as an executive? I can understand it as a performer because you don't want to lose your spot. I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand it in that scenario. But as
Yeah.
far as like as an executive, what are you worried about? What spot are they going to take of yours if you push them? Or are you mad because they may take your best friend's spot that you're still pushing, or what? I don't know. I don't get it.
I
It
don't know
just
either.
it doesn't line up to make a whole lot of sense for why he's doing what he's doing. But maybe one day he'll figure it out and get it together, because I don't know. I have a bad feeling, or not a bad feeling, but I've got a feeling that Vince is going to seriously, because I've seen more reports this week that Vince is seriously pursuing buying back WWE.
I think a lot of people would like it now. Of course, there's going to be some pushback, but I think as long, unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, winning makes people forget bad shit. If Vince came back and made wrestling as good as it was in the Attitude Era, nobody's going to think about all the bad shit that happened in the past. Nobody's going to give a fuck. Winning cures all that shit. So if he can come back and make wrestling as great as it was, all things will be forgiven as far as the fans. Most fans. I don't want to say all fans because some people won't forget, but majority of people, they're going to be like, oh, wrestling's great again.
I I'm I'm torn because I would like to have. I don't, and see, I have a hard time saying that too, because Vince's product wasn't great the past few years.
When he got
Yeah.
older, yes, it definitely got stale. And then I think when Triple H came in, it got a little refreshing. But now it seems like Triple H has fallen to the same thing that Vince did, being too comfortable.
Yes, and I think that's exactly what it is. He's too comfortable doing what he's doing, and it worked for a minute, and so he's trying to just lean on it, and it's not working now.
Or is it TKO? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Is it exec? Because we all know when corporate entities take over certain businesses, things change. You know, like no matter what business it is, when corporations come, mom and pop or family owned businesses are never the same.
No, that could be it. TK, and that's the problem with somebody who doesn't know wrestling. You can't run a wrestling business if you don't know wrestling.
Yes.
And I was watching an interview with Eric Bischoff, and he was talking about TNA and Dixie Carter.
Hmm.
Like Dixie Carter was a huge name in the country music industry. And he said, Eric said, he said, I feel like she thought that it would just be an easy transition. I know music, I know that entertainment, so I'll go in here and I know, I'll be able to do this entertainment.
Yeah.
He said, but the problem with that is she relied too much on the other people.
Hmm.
And by doing that, it let other people's influence come in instead of what she just wanted, how she wanted the business to run. And like he said, she's a nice woman, all that stuff and everything, but she just didn't know the wrestling business the way she needed to know it to run a business.
Yeah.
And I think, and like I said, that's what it is. You got to know. I feel like being a fan of wrestling would help you run a business a whole lot more because it makes you understand what the fans want to see. You understand how to build things for the fans. Sometimes it hits, sometimes you build too long, sometimes you don't build long enough, but that's the risk you take.
I think you need to learn both sides of the business. I think being a fan definitely helps because you have that perspective of what entertains you, but at the same time, if you don't know the backstage part, like if you don't know the science, like if you don't know how to, book a good show or, promote it, then I think that can harm you too. So I think you kind of need to be well rounded. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to know how shit works in the ring. You need to know backstage. You need to know, what the fans want and like. I think there's more to it, and it's not as easy as people think it is. They think you just go in there, throw a couple punches, you take a couple slams, and everybody loves you. And that's not the way it works. Like people are smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the 19, you know, 30s, 50s, and people believe everything that's told to them. I mean, so
Yeah, I agree. Something's got to change and I'm not going to say in the professional wrestling landscape. I'm going to say the WWE landscape because granted they may be the king dingling on the block, but it don't take much to get knocked off your pedestal. Look at WCW. WCW
exactly,
thought
that's
for
all it
sure.
takes. That's all it takes. That's why I think part of them is why they started buying up like other companies. It's kind of like before they're trying to get as much talent as they can, and they're trying to push out the little guys or whatever.
But in doing that, I agree. But in doing that, I think they've um, overpopulated their talent pool because now they've got all this talent. They don't have enough shows to put them on. So it's
Exactly.
like you're just paying people to sit on the sidelines just so that, like we talked before, so that other companies can't get them.
Yeah, but is that bad business?
That's bad
I
business.
mean, I guess it kind of depends on the way you look at it. I mean, like if you're trying to be a star, then no, it's not. But if you're still getting them steady checks, you're like, well, it kind of sucks, but I'm still getting paid.
I don't think that they should necessarily have people coming up so quick from the performance center and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You want to be a professional wrestler and you want to be a WWE wrestler and you want to go to the performance center to train and everything. Do all that. Follow your dream. Sit at the performance center for 2 or 3 years. You're getting paid there. You know what I'm saying? So sit there and really hone your skills and everything. And if they don't see you doing something in the performance center, they're going to let you go. But you're still going to have enough training to where you're going to be able to go another place and work. You
I don't
know,
know about 2 or 3 years though. I mean that seems. I mean, people are going to get. Nobody wants to wait that long for their. I'm not saying because people do wait that long to pay their dues, but I think 2 or 3 years at the point. I mean, like if you can't move up by then to maybe a NXT or like a like
LFG or something like that.
yeah, or something like that, then maybe wrestling's not for you and shit. Like, because not everybody's going to be a star. It takes time, like everybody develops it at a different time or pace, whatever you want to call it. And some people it takes longer to catch on than others. So I mean, I don't say one timeline fits all, but I mean you got to have some type of it's kind of like being a rapper or a singer. You got to know when to hang it up type deal. Like if you're not going to
Right.
make it, you're not going to make it.
It just ain't gonna happen.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Again, get it together, WWE. We want to be fans. I seen this and I thought it was pretty cool. It's the most cursed championship belts from WWE.
Cursed belts. Oh, that's interesting.
They've got the WWE Universal title, which the first 4 out of the first 5 champions were injured.
Mm.
They've got the NXT North American title is known for having the shortest average reigns in history. The WWE European Championship was retired and brought back only to be mocked. And that's sad too, because I thought that was a good looking title.
I liked it at the time and shit. Yeah.
I thought it could have been a good TV champion type title. The champion, the European Championship gets defended every week, kind of like the US Open type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the 24/7 title, which was that was totally stupid.
It was all right, but I could see how it would get burned out all the time.
I mean, it was better when they did it as the hardcore title.
Yeah, like the hardcore was a little bit better, but like even that, it was like, damn it. I don't know. It got a little annoying and stuff, but I did like it.
It said the 24/7 title was once won by a marshmallow and a dog.
What?
So, yes.
How is it even possible?
I have no idea. It must have been a time when I wasn't watching much because I don't remember it, and I'm kind of glad I don't. Let's see. The World Heavyweight Gold was broken into pieces during a match with the Giant. I don't remember that happening.
Maybe that's what happened to the hardcore belt.
It may be.
That's how it got there.
The Divas Butterfly title was hated by the wrestlers so much they refused to hold it.
I believe that.
That one I think is funny. Like, this is your world championship, and people are like, "Nah, I don't want that one. Can I get another one?"
Yeah.
There's no other titles to give you. That's okay. I'll deal with that one then.
Just call me the champ. That's all I need.
Right. Let's see. You got the hardcore title. Was found in a trash can by Mankind in 1998. So I don't know. And then the $1 million belt. I love the $1 million belt.
Yeah, what was wrong with the $1 million belt?
My only the issue that they had with it was that like it was always led. Let's see, it always led to the champion being robbed in the storyline. My whole thing though is I just wished it would have been an actual like all the time defended belt and not some, here we're going to put this on you and say you're the $1 million champion. I don't know. That belt always kind of made me mad because they never used it the way they should have used it. And let's see. This is my last one before we get into the recaps of the shows. Like I said, it was a short week this week. Let's see. This is the most bizarre work shoots of all time, which had... Let's see here. Let me see if I can find this so I can read it a little bit better for you. There it is. So we've got, I don't know why they got a picture of Tom Cruise as Eric Bischoff on there, but you got to love AI.
AI, God bless God bless America.
Funny because they got Eric Bischoff for Jim Cornette too. So.
No, what? Come on now.
But
who did this? Where did you get this from? I need to know.
Right. Let's see. You got Brian Pillman, the loose cannon gimmick that fooled the office. Now, did you ever know about that with what he did with Eric Bischoff and them?
Like, what do you mean?
So, like, he basically conned Eric Bischoff and them into giving him his release. And it was all through a storyline. He was like, wouldn't it be actually better if you actually gave me my release so that I can have the paper and I can go around in like the airports and everything and be like, yeah, look, he really released me, blah, 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 all this stuff and everything. And then once they gave him the release so that they could go on with the storyline, he went over to the WWE.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
That is genius. That is pure genius.
He got out of that contract quick and got over there. I thought it was hilarious.
Damn.
And then, of course, you got Vince Russo, who fired Hulk Hogan on a live pay-per-view in WCW. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Was that a Bash at the Beach? I think it was.
I think so.
You got CM Punk, of course, the infamous pipe bomb that blurred the lines of reality. I'm going to go and look this one up because I have never seen this, but Joey Styles, his I Quit promo on Raw was highly unscripted. So I'm going to have to go and look at Joey Styles giving his I Quit. Let's see. Then you got Eric Bischoff, of course, challenging Vince McMahon to a fight on Nitro. I remember that.
What? Tom Cruise, a special guest referee?
Right. And then you got Eric Bischoff standing in for Jim Cornette.
Damn, Jim Cornette's lost a lot of weight. He looking good. Yeah, man.
I know it. 20 years younger, got big old fluffy head of hair.
Man, you should just put a tennis racket in his hand and then nobody would have noticed. Kind of like Superman with glasses.
Right.
Oh, that's you? I never knew.
I would have never thought it was Bischoff. I thought you were Cornette the whole time.
I know, the whole time.
His shoot promos on Raw were vetted by Vince McMahon. The whole, I don't know if you remember those. When he was part of the WWE and he would do those little sets.
I love those, yeah.
I did too, but I didn't know they were vetted by Vince. But
see, I thought they were just, they let them go. Yeah.
Yep. Kevin Nash talked about booking during his live WCW segment. I remember that. And then the Miz talking smack rant was real life frustration. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, because I don't remember that.
I don't either. I'm gonna go back and look at that too because I like Miz, and I'm just kind of curious as to what had him frustrated at that time. If that because to me Miz has been one of the best. I hate to use the word soldiers, but he's been one of the best as far as staying with the company and not. Letting the company, I don't know. Like Miz seems to always be able to reinvent himself.
Yeah.
To wherever they need him, he can just slide himself right on in. You need me as a tag team to be a tag team champion. Hey, cool. Set me up with somebody and we'll do it. I've always liked Miz. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. That's all I got. Do you want to go ahead and do the SmackDown?
Yeah, I'll go shoot with my recaps and hold on, let me pull them up. So we can get this party started. Let's see. All right, let's see. Raw. We'll start off with Raw. And starting off with Raw, we had Seth freaking Rollins come out with 1 million guys dressed up in identical clothes because the GM wanted to talk to him. I don't really know about this whole mask thing. I mean, I guess if it was real, it'd be a good idea, but it's just kind of losing its. It's kind of like you said, it's kind of losing its meaning now because it's like that's how we're doing this masked men.
Everybody's got a mask.
Yeah, you got a million people. You got a mask. She got a mask.
Everybody
Um,
gets a mask.
yeah. So I mean, he came out, talked to him. Then of course, you know who came out, kind of interrupted. So he basically put his mask on and ran away. Then they're doing like some gauntlets matches for AJ Lee for her first challenger, which I'm kind of liking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if people know what a gauntlet is. It's pretty much two people get in the ring. Whoever loses, they leave. Then another challenger comes down. Whoever wins between them. Another person comes down. So and so. So it started out. Let's see. Bailey actually won it, but it had Bailey, Asuka, uh, Rodriguez, Io Sky, uh, what was it, Valkyrie, and what's that one chick's name? Um, Last name now. I cannot think of what it's called. But it went as Io Pin Valkyrie. They were the first two that came in. Sky Io Pin Rodriguez, and then Rodriguez pretty much destroyed her. Then Niles. Now okay, now I'm like when she's a short blonde, real kind of muscular. Not Jordan Grace, but she's a different chick. She kind of picked up the scraps pretty much. Came in after EO was pretty much knocked out, pinned her real quick. Then Bailey came in, peeled Niles, and won. Let's see. Also, let's see. Then we had an Intercontinental Championship match with Penta versus the original El Grande Americana. I keep thinking coffee every time I hear that. But before the original went to the ring, he ran into what's the new guy? I always mess his name up. The little vampire.
Oh, Danhausen.
Dan Hauser, who wanted to team up with him. He said he wouldn't. So, of course, he cursed him. And he lost the match. Penta won. Then we had Dom Mysterio come out with Liv. They called out Finn Balor, for Finn not helping them and basically letting them lose the title to Penta. Finn was like, look, I helped you, but maybe you're acting like a little bitch. Maybe you're not as good as you think you are. Dom pushed him. Finn hit him with a kick. He was getting ready to hit him with one of his finishing moves, and other members of Judgment Day basically ganged Finn Balor, which basically means he's out of the group now. He's gone. And they beat him pretty good. I think they all pretty much hit him with a finishing move.
Is it me, or is Judgment one of the groups I've done anything with?
Since I got back into wrestling, I haven't seen shit from Judgment Day. Like, besides Dom having a title, nothing. Now, I don't know what they were doing like when they first came. Like, maybe they were a big force. Maybe I need to go back and watch something, but
when they had Edge, and it was like Edge and what's the other dude? I can't think of his name now because he's all but disappeared except for on SmackDown. Damian Priest.
Damian Priest.
They had Edge, Damian Priest. I think it was Finn. They had a nice little group going. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just kicked Edge out, and it was, I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no,
seems like a group.
Fine. But I agree with you.
It's like do nothing.
It's like they promote the women more than they do the men when it comes to, as far as storylines. Like Dom had a decent, okay storyline, but Liv, I don't know if it's because of injury or what, but Rodriguez, she still doesn't have a title. Her shit's kind of boring. I'm assuming Perez is still out because of injury. And then what's the other dude with little ponytail? Is it AJ McDonough or something like that?
Oh, JD McDonough.
JD McDonough. My bad. Nothing for him. Like these are talented individuals and shit. Like these are really good people, and they're just we see them every week. They come up. They're playing video games. Live. You know what I'm saying? It's basically. I feel like if you got rid of everybody else and just had Liv and Dom, it wouldn't be any different. Like
Yeah,
nobody would miss anybody else. Like they wouldn't give a shit if if JD or Rodriguez was there or not, or Perez. It
I
wouldn't
agree.
matter.
I agree 100%.
Basically, almost like dead weight. Um, let's see. Da-da-da. Next, we had Obi Fime versus Rusev. Which I'm kind of glad they're bringing back Rusev because, like I said, they brought him back and really didn't do shit with him. Now he's got a little beef with Obi Fime, so maybe that can get the fans to like him a little bit more. But I think it's pretty much he's going to use Rusev just to get over, to get Obi Fime's popularity up. Let's see. Let's see. CM Punk came out, did a promo. You know, basically same old shit, talking shit, this and that. Usos came out. They were a little upset about what he said about burying Roman next to his father and asked him to say sorry. Asked him to apologize. And he was like, hey, look, did he apologize when he talked about my mentor, Dusty Rhodes, and said that he was irrelevant? You know, like y'all are basically his, errand boys. Why ain't he out here? And they're like, look, it has nothing to do with that. It's all about respect. And he was like, nah, I'm not, I'm sorry that y'all are, of course he gave the fake apology. Like he said, I'm sorry that y'all feel this way. I'm sorry that this is that, but no, I'm not sorry. And he got hit in the face with the microphone and they just kind of left it at that. So I don't know if they're just trying to pull another bloodline. Is this going to be the reemergence or what? I don't really
I hope
know.
not.
Yeah, because I feel like that's all played out. Actually, I felt like they dragged it on too long as it was, just to be 100% honest.
Yep.
And I don't want to see it come back because if you do, then that just kind of proves what we've been talking about, that they really just don't know what they're doing anymore. They're just bringing back old shit to take up space or kill time. Let's see. We're going to go with, we had Izzy Dame destroys new North American women's champ, Tatum Paxton. It was more psychological torture than anything, honestly. Now, she did hit her with a boot at the end, but she had this big montage, which basically showed her starting from the beginning, how she, with all the different characters, how she progressed, and basically, I guess, it's supposed to be playing on her psyche, saying that she's mentally weak. I kind of care about that, but I don't at the same time. I've still got mixed feelings when it comes to that. Next, we had Sean Lacey and Eli Knight defeating Jason Troy in a triple threat match. It seems kind of weird. How do two people pin one people?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Oh, now here's something that you're going to probably enjoy or whatever. Lex King and Uriah Connors defeat Charlie Dempsey and Travis Height. Now, Travis Height and Dempsey, Charlie Dempsey, were actually doing really well. Was kind of, had the match in hand when Steven Regal and comes out and Charlie Dempsey turns on his tag team partner, letting the other team win. Now, ain't Charlie Dempsey, what's the name's son?
Regal's son.
Yep.
And Lexus King is actually Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, so I knew you liked that, and so I kind of like that, and I didn't know it, but the Travis guy was actually a Olympic wrestler. Like he's a big recruit that they just got not too long ago or whatever.
Okay, I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, like he's a bit. I think he. I don't know if he won gold, but I'm pretty sure he definitely was definitely was in the Olympics and won some type of medal.
Okay.
Now, what I'm not really sure about. Then we had Tony D come out, basically, saying, "Look, I took care of Dark State. That was my original goal. I had two goals. Second one is he wants championship, so he's going after Joe Henry."
He believes in Joe Hendry.
Then we had Soul Rika defeat Laney Reed, which was a pretty good match. I ain't gonna lie. We had Ren Sinclair defeat Thea Hall in the finals of the speed tournament. I guess they're finally doing something with her because I mean, I don't even know what the girl does besides just walk. I mean, hang around. She don't really do any matches besides stick her hand in the air, and I don't understand what the holding the hand in the air is. It's like,
Right.
what is this? I mean, like, what is it supposed to mean? Is she throwing up L's? Is she pointing to the sky? Is she doing like the handgun? I don't know. Then the main event was Ethan Page and Ricky Saint versus Joe Henry and Miles Bourne. And the winner was finally Ethan Page and Ricky Saint defeated Joe Henry and Miles Bourne, which both are the champs right now. Former champs versus the other champs.
Okay.
All
So
right.
champs versus champs.
Now we have SmackDown from last week because obviously SmackDown's going on for this week. We're going to start it off with Randy Orton coming out to pretty much say how happy he was the way everything turned out. Then we had a surprise guest from Trick Williams, and I don't think you need to be a genius to figure out what happened in here. 3 letters to Trick Williams.
Yep.
I mean, no surprise there.
And to just think that it all started because they're arguing over who's taller.
And then we had, of course, the United States Open with Carmelo Hayes. He says he's been getting requests from all over the world. So this week's opponent was Dr. Wagner Jr. I'm pretty sure he's from AAA.
Okay.
Great match, 2 high flyers. Carmelo Hayes won again.
Carmelo's a beast.
Then we had Charlotte Flair and Alexis Bliss versus Julia and Kiana James for a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championship, which the winner was Charlotte Flair and Alexis Bliss.
Okay.
No surprise there. Now, they are doing Tag Team Turmoil on SmackDown, which is almost basically like the gauntlet match, except for it's tag teams. Let's see. We had Nathan Frazier and let me make sure I said Atomons. Defeat Chris
Axiom.
Sabin. Yeah, Axiom.
Yeah.
Defeats Chris Sabin and Alistair Sheldon. Then we had Angel Bertelli defeat Frazier and Axiom. And then Angel and Bartoli was defeated by Joey Grace and Dexter Loomis, with Damon Priest and R-Truth coming in to win the final match, which I still think is a kind of odd tag team.
Who was it again?
Damian Priest and R-Truth.
Yeah, see, I don't like that.
I don't know if they're trying to do the whole we'll throw 2 weird people together like the Rock and Sock and maybe they can feed off each other or something, which R-Truth is funny, and but I just don't know about him and Damian Priest as far as
The only thing that I can get is that I can say is like maybe because of where R-Truth was doing that whole I'm in the Judgment Day thing, even though he wasn't really in the Judgment Day.
Let's see. And then we had, Rhea Ripley came out, her and Jay Cargill talked a little shit to each other. Nothing, just smack, nothing important there. Then we had Obi Feme versus Johnny Gargo,
Johnny
Gargano,
Gargano.
Gargano. He's the one that's been all depressed and laying around and shit. Well, he called out whoever he wanted. He said, "Anybody in the back, come out." So Obafemi had to come out, and that was a squash match. That didn't take no time at all.
There's rumor that Johnny is on is on his way out.
I can
So
see that.
that may be why because him and Tommaso were DIY
Mm-hmm.
and Tommaso left for AEW. And I something just tells me Johnny Gargano is going to end up in AEW with
I
them.
think he does because he's just wasting his time over at WWE. I feel like he could be a bigger star. He could do so much more.
Oh, he's good. He's really
That's what I'm
good.
saying. TNA, AEW, anybody, another promotion, definitely. And for the main event, it was Drew versus Cody in a championship match because Drew just won't leave Cody alone. He interfered in the Elimination Chamber. He interfered in the Royal Rumble. So the GM decided to give him a title shot. And guess what happened? He won.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure somebody predicted this.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I
I
told you
know.
so.
I don't like hearing that either, so trust me. I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that either. So, but that's all I got as far as my wrestling recap.
Alrighty, well, I will jump in here to AEW. So AEW for March 11th, 2026. We had the TNT Championship. The champion Kyle Fletcher defeated Mike Bailey to retain the title. The TBS champion, which is the female version, Willow Nightingale, the champion, defeated, how do you say that? Persephone. That's what
Persephone.
it is. I figured it out. Hooked on Phonics worked for me.
It's finally coming in handy.
Right. John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. I can't say his last name, but Claudio, that's the guy that used to be what was Cesaro. Defeated Konosuke Takashita and Hichiro. I'm assuming those are two Japanese wrestlers. Right. If not, then their parents didn't like them very much.
Yeah, I
know. Let's see. Tommaso Ciampa, or however you say that. What is up with all these weird names now in wrestling?
I don't think they're really weird. I just think either we don't know how to speak or we can't read very well.
That's what it is.
I don't want to put it on them. I think it's more us than it is them.
I'm putting it on them. I'm a genius. I can say this stuff. No, I'm just joking. This stuff's hard. Some of these names. But yeah, Tommaso and FTR defeated the Young Bucks and Mark Briscoe. I love Mark. I liked the Briscoes, him and his brother. I hated that his brother passed away. Very good. If you've never watched them, go watch them in Ring of Honor, man. They got the Briscoes are good. Let's see. The major storylines from AEW were a heated confrontation between MJF and Adam Page, built toward their Texas death match at AEW Revolution. I absolutely love MJF, and Adam Page is starting to get to me. I didn't like him at first, but I'm kind of starting to like him. Hangman Adam Page. If you ain't never seen him, check him out too. He's pretty good. Other big angles, Swerve Strickland attacked Brody King with a chain before King snapped the chain in retaliation. And Roderick Strong saved Orange Cassidy from attack by the War Dogs. That's something I'm going to do this next week. I'm off until next Friday. I don't have to work. So, if anybody needs anybody on your podcast or anything, feel free. I ain't got nothing to do for the next week. But I'm going to really go back and watch some AEW because that's something that I don't really get to sit down and watch a whole lot of. I catch it, when I'm thinking of it and ain't nothing else on or whatever, I'll throw it on. Cause I forget that it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
That's hard enough to remember, but I'm going to go ahead and this week I'm going to do some AEW research and kind of catch up. on some people over there and what's going on. But this week's TNA Impact results for March 12th, 2026, we had Moose defeat Cedric Alexander in an Atlanta street fight. Ricky Sosa defeated Brad Attitude, not bad, Brad, that's right. And the Hardy Boys defeated Sinner and Saint. And did you see that Jeff Hardy has actually changed his finishing move? He is
No,
going. He said he's going to start using the Swanton Bomb a whole lot less because of just where he's getting older and it's getting harder to do. He has switched it to, I can't remember what he called it, but it's a submission move.
oh, really?
He's become a submission wrestler.
Hmm.
Like, kind of surprises me, but hey, let's see where it goes,
I mean, it kind of makes sense now. It's definitely going to take some getting adjusted to, but I mean, all those hardcore matches, as old as they are wrestling, I don't blame him. I mean, maybe that he should have done it like a little bit sooner. To be honest, like damn, because I know his body has taken some punishment.
Oh, big time. All the
Um,
TLC matches and
oh
all that.
God, like one of those alone would be enough to last me a lifetime. And I know he's had probably, God, 10, 20 of them, probably more or something like that. So
And not throwing a jab or anything, but he's also had problems with substances. So that's
yeah,
taken a
yeah,
toll
yeah.
on his body too.
He
Then
probably
that's not a jab at all.
no. I mean that honestly, just to be 100 honest, that I don't like saying it's part of wrestling, but it kind of is when when we talk about professional sports, painkillers, all that, dealing with certain injuries and having to still perform.
It's more prevalent in certain
Yeah,
professions than others. It really
exactly,
is.
because you have the money and you have that pressure, and it's probably you might have somebody there that's like, hey, look, man, we really need you. Take these, it'll help you get through. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Now this one, uh, we're gonna shout out somebody. I'm still working to try to get them to come on the show. The Kazanas, better known as the Country Gentlemen. This is the NWA recap from NWA Power. The U.S. Tag Team Championship scene continues to revolve around the rivalry between the Country Gentlemen and Sage Chance and Tommy Rance. So yeah, keep your eyes on that, man. Go watch the Country Gentlemen; they are so good. Like this, as soon as I heard that NWA Power or NWA was coming back on with a national show, and I watched that first episode. I don't know what it was about the Kazanas, but the Country Gentlemen, they caught my eye immediately, and I think it's the fact that they are they're an old school tag team. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like. I love all the single stuff too, but man, we just don't get enough tag team wrestling with the WWE. So if you want tag team wrestling, man, go watch NWA and
Okay.
watch the Country Gentlemen. And that's to everybody out there in podcast land. Go check them out. AJ and CK, man. Can't wait to get you on the show. We know y'all are busy men, but we will wait patiently till we can get y'all here. And let's see. Then we got EC3. Eric Carter III remains. Do you know Eric Carter is Dixie Carter's son? I don't know if you knew that.
Oh no.
EC3 remains a central figure around the NWA World Championship scene, and the show continues to emphasize classic studio style wrestling, reminiscent of the old days. I don't guess there was too many matches on this episode because they didn't list any. I'm guessing the big match was the U.S. Tag Team. But that's all I've got for the recaps on NWA, TNA, and AEW. But yeah, go check out the Country Gentlemen. Everybody, they're absolutely awesome.
Definitely will.
But I ain't got anything else. You got anything else, Uncle
No,
Sean?
unfortunately, I think I'm tapped out for today.
Well, I do have one more
Oh,
thing.
one more.
Yeah, and this one doesn't really have to do with the recap, but I guess we're gonna say Nice Guy Andy podcast, Mayhem Media, and the Sloans. I think Headlocks. We're in.
Oh yeah,
So let's ring the damn bell.
I agree.
And we will holler at y'all next week, you good, lovely people. We're going to ring that bell. And don't forget,